Yo, what is up guys, this is Nate Shell here, and in today's video, I am going to be comparing the Koopaling castle boss fights in New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. U, and giving you my verdict on which one is harder in each respective world. The reason I'm doing this is because I recently played through both of the games again. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a game I know especially. I've played it since I was 4 years old, I've loved it, and I've been super obsessed with finding every single star coin, secret exits, and everything, and I know 99% of if I were to do a playthrough by myself again, I would know how to get 99% of the star coins, and I know every single secret exit. New Super Mario Bros. U is a game that I don't know that well, but I know some secret exit. I know where the majority of star coins are, but so I'm not that familiar with the game. But what I am familiar with is the boss fights. Now, both of these games utilize the Koopalings in the game. In New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the Koopalings are a tower fight and a castle fight, and in New Super Mario Bros. U, the Koopalings are a castle fight. And although in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, some tower fights are actually easier than some castle fights in New Super Mario Bros. U, I am not going to be using those because I guess it's not a fair comparison. Anyways, the reason I love these Koopaling fights is because when I was younger, I used to look super forward to facing the Koopalings in the battle. Like, honestly, facing the Koopalings was my favorite part, but the more I grew up, the better I got at the game. And the better I got at the game, the more boring I would find the fights, and the easier I would obviously find the fights. There's still some fights that I'd say are not difficult, but just a little hard. Like, they'll challenge you a little bit, but other than that, most of these fights are really easy, and some are actually like so easy, like it's boring. And it's like you're not really fighting a boss fight, and some levels in the world are harder than the actual boss fight itself. So yeah, I just want to go over through the Koopalings boss fights in each world and compare which one is easier and harder in each respective world, New Super Mario Bros. Wii or in Super Mario Bros. U. And with that, let's get into the video. Alright, so World 1 is the first world of the game, and it is the grass world. It is called Acorn Plains in New Super Mario Bros. U, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii it is nameless, but... So, naturally, being the first world, the castle boss fight is gonna be, easier. It's supposed to be easier than the rest of the boss fights. In New Super Mario Bros. Wii, when Magic Koopa does her magic, these little, like, circular platforms, they go up and down, and when you hit Larry, it's a little unpredictable where he's gonna go, because sometimes, like, you kind of get caught off guard, and you actually end up getting hit. Um, but that's the only difficult part of it. Like, it's really easy to like kind of just jump on his head again, so it doesn't pose that much of a threat or difficulty. But you can get hit, and you can lose like a power up, or if you're little facing Larry, then you might die and have to restart the level over again. But in Super Mario Bros. U, I mean, this is literally the worst and most boring and easiest castle boss fight of the New Super Mario Bros. Like franchise ever. Because unlike in World 3 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, when he had this like big gigantic ball, he now is on like a little ball, and now it's super easy to jump on top of him. And on top of that, the bombs that he throws at you, they're like, bro, they're basically harmless. They're basically beach balls, honestly. Like, if you actually get hit by these bombs, then you actually just suck, like genuinely. So yeah, it's super easy to jump on top of his head, and then if you have an acorn suit, you can literally hang on one of the walls and just wait for him to like get out of his shell and rebounce on his head. Like, he's really easy and he's just trash. So obviously, I would say the harder boss fight in World 1 goes to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Alright, World 2. World 2 is a bit interesting. World 2 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the castle boss fight is Roy, and in New Super Mario Bros. U, the castle boss fight is Morton. Now, in Super Mario Bros. Wii, I actually quite like Roy's boss fight a lot. Like, I think it's super creative. Maybe the first or second time you ever fight him, like, him ground pounding the ground and making you, like, shake in place will catch you off guard, and if you're mini, like, that will kill you. And if you do have a power-up, then you're gonna lose that power-up. But usually after you hit him the first time, it's pretty easy to kind of hit his head again once he gets out of his shell. But he is pretty fast, so sometimes I actually miss him. And then, I get annoyed because now he's like trying to finesse me with the pipes and whatnot. And sometimes he actually ends up hitting me while going down of the pipe because I get caught off guard or I mistime my jump. But other than that, like, he doesn't really pose like a threat or anything. But I really like the concept of the fight where he goes up into the pipes. And yeah, Morton on the other hand is also a pretty interesting boss fight. He uses a hammer and he has pokey, a really tall pokey, and he throws each of the pokies like balls at you. You can either do it where the balls like spin on the ground or they fly up in the air and they might get you. The first time going through this boss fight, I remember him throwing one of the pokies in the air and it caught me off guard completely and I died. And ever since then, like I know his patterns. It's either he sends out one Pokeball through the floor, two Pokeballs through the floor, or he sends out one flying one towards you. And after that, it's pretty easy because you just get on top of him after he's done throwing his balls, and it's pretty easy to just hit him in the head again once he gets out of his shell. So honestly, both of these boss fights has their, like, I guess you could say difficult parts, but other than that, like, it's pretty easy, honestly. Actually, I forgot to mention that Morton can also ground pound the ground and you'll be shaken in place for a little bit. Roy and Morton are the only Koopalings who have those abilities, which is why I assume they actually were swapped in World 6 and World 2 in each game, because they have both of those powers. So yeah, I forgot to mention that Morton can actually, like, ground pound the ground and you'll be shaken in place, and he can throw the Pokeball at you, and there's pretty much no way of dodging it if you're shaking in place. But once again, it's just like a one-time thing. Like, it only happened to you once, and then you'll learn from your mistake. So yeah, I'm gonna say Roy's is a little bit harder because, like, I actually have gotten hit, like, after I've played the game for, like, so many times, and because I either miss my jump or because he gets out of the pipe so fast that I can't react, even though I have a really fast reaction time. Alright, World 3 in Super Mario Bros. Wii is a Snow World, and the Snow World's boss is Lemmy, and the Snow boss in Super Mario Bros. U is Wendy. Now, I know technically in New Super Mario Bros. U, World 3 is the Water World, but I'm just gonna compare the bosses based on the world's theme, because the rest of the worlds are actually in the same order as in Super Mario Bros. Wii. Anyway, in the Snow World, Lemmy is the boss, is the final boss, and Wendy's the final boss. Lemmy's actually one of my favorite boss fights because, one, I've actually died to him a lot, and although that makes me mad, like, it genuinely makes me mad when he kills me because I fall off the ledge. I'm just glad it poses, like, a threat or a challenge, because not many of these bosses are challenging in the first place. And especially when he keeps throwing those bouncy balls and the bouncy ball traps you, and you literally have no way of getting out from the bottom. It's one of the most painful deaths in the game, but it's awesome. It's really fun. And I love when his ball gets, like, even bigger, like, after you hit him twice. This is awesome. And he's not really difficult to, like, hit. You can climb on top of his balls and whatnot to hit him, but it can also be a little bit tricky. It just depends on how well you're playing that day. So yeah, I think he's a really awesome boss fight. Honestly, in the Snow World and New Super Mario Bros. U, like, Wendy sucks ass. Like I've heard other channels say that, you know, the slippery ice, like, poses, like, a threat or something, or the icicles that fall when the rings touch them is hard. It's hard, but in reality, it's just really easy. Like, honestly, like, once you just, like, cause, like, once you hit her once, it's just really easy to hit her again and then again. So yeah, it's just not really challenging at all, to be honest. Like, not at all. Like, yeah, she sucks. Like, she's horrible. Fuck Wendy. So yeah, I mean, I guess after what I've just said, you guys would definitely assume that I find the boss fight in World 3 of New Super Mario Bros. Wii harder, and yeah, that is absolutely the case. Alright, so in the middle of editing this video, I completely realized that I've, like, completely skipped World 4. I didn't even talk about World 4. So yeah, World 4 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii is the Water World, and in New Super Mario Bros. U, it is Sparkling Waters. And honestly, the Water World is my least favorite world. Especially in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I don't know, I kind of find them, like, a little bit boring. But we're not talking about the world itself, we're talking about the bosses. Yeah, and Wendy's the boss fight of New Super Mario Bros. Wii in World 4, and Larry is the castle boss fight in New Super Mario Bros. U of World 4. Now, I'm gonna just keep it a buck, like, both of these fights, like, are total aids. Like, wow, they're horrible. They really add nothing to the fight. Like, Wendy's fight is just a normal fight, but there's water in the arena now. Like, who cares? And yeah, it's just really easy to kill her. I believe if after the second time you hit her, I believe you can hit her 3 times in a row, without the water coming up again. I'm not fully sure, but I think it's possible. So yeah, it's really easy. And even then, if you're just in the water, it's really easy to dodge the rings because the rings are so slow. So yeah, she's just really easy. And in World 4, Sparkling Waters of Super Mario Bros. U, yeah. I mean, maybe you'll get caught off guard by Larry's shell, like, being elevated by the water geysers, but other than that, I mean, yeah, he's just super easy, honestly. Nothing more to say. Alright, this is World 5, the New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. U. It is both Iggy is the World 5 castle battle. Now, I'm just gonna go out and say that in New Super Mario Bros. U, Iggy's definitely my favorite fight. Hardest I would say as well. So yeah, but I'll talk about New Super Mario Bros. Wii first. Iggy's fight is more unique to every other boss fight in Koopaling boss fight in New Super Mario Bros. Wii because he doesn't actually spin in his shell. But after you bounce on top of him, he keeps moving. His chain chomp gets mad, and then you have to try and dodge his chain chomp because his chain chomp can pretty much kill you. And honestly, the New Super Mario Bros. Wii one isn't that difficult. I'd say like even though I've played it like so many times, like if I were to replay the game, I'd still probably get hit by the chain chomp at least once, because after the second hit, at least he's like really fast. And if I don't have a propeller suit, then I don't know. It's kind of tough for me to not take damage from chain chomp. But other than that, I wouldn't say it's too hard to hit Iggy. Unless Chain Chomp is literally going in the opposite direction or in a direction where you can't jump on top of Iggy, because if you try to, you'll jump on top of Chain Chomp first. So yeah, it is pretty hard, but we'll move on to New Super Mario Bros. U and explain why I think it's harder. And by saying that, I already spoiled that I think New Super Mario Bros. U, the World 5 boss fight, is harder because he goes into the pipe, and unlike every other Koopaling boss fight, like you actually have to wait a bit until you can actually hit him. And not only that, if you start the Iggy boss fight and you're Mini Mario or Mario without a mushroom, like you're kind of cooked, because it's not super tough to dodge the lava thing, the lava monster, but it can still hit you and you could still die and you could still take damage, which could, you know, make you hesitate to jump on top of Iggy or do certain maneuvers during the fight if you already get hit once. And on top of that, when you actually hit Iggy and he's in his shell moving, an unexpected thing is that when he goes into the pipe, he comes out of the other one, and then when he's going one way, he can stop and trick you and go another way. So he's like kind of unpredictable in that sense. And unlike a lot of Koopalings where you, like, after they come out of the shell, you can instantly hit them on the head again, I find that Iggy's World 5 boss fight in New Super Mario Bros. U is like one of the only boss fights in the game where you actually can't really do that, because he goes into the pipe really quickly again, and he's on top of the roof walking like a crazy maniac. And for that reason, I think Iggy's pretty tough in World 5, so I'd have to say in New Super Mario Bros. U, Iggy is definitely harder. Now, World 6 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii is the Rock World, also in New Super Mario Bros. U, but it's called Rock Candy Mines. And as I said, Roy and Morton kind of have the same power where they can ground pound and it makes you shake in place where you can't move, and they have the chance to hit you either with their wand power or if it's the Wii U games with their weapons, so to say. Anyways, in World 6 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Morton's a castle battle. In World 6 in New Super Mario Bros. U, Roy is a castle battle. Now, I'm gonna just say this because it's interesting. I genuinely find Roy's tower battle more difficult than Roy's castle battle in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It just kind of proves how easy his World 6 boss fight is. I think it's probably the second easiest boss fight after Lemmy in New Super Mario Bros. U, because honestly, like, all he does is ground pound the ground, and these two like circular walls like go up, and it has killed me once, but only once ever, and it was such a stupid mistake of mine. But honestly, like, it's so easy, like, and because once you hit him in the head and he starts spinning with his shell, his shell spin is like slower than like most people, so it's actually way easier to jump on top of his head again. It's pretty much, once you jump on top of his head, the boss fight is pretty much over. And in World 6 of New Super Mario Bros. U, Roy is also pretty easy, to be honest, because Roy sucks. Like, I know he's supposed to suck, but honestly, if Roy was actually real and not like AI or like a robot, like he would actually have good aim. Like, first of all, he would not be shooting the bullet bill super slowly. He wouldn't take 5 years to take his bullet bill cannon out. So yeah, I mean, he kind of sucks. So yeah, once you jump on top of his head, once again, it's really easy to kill him. But I'd definitely say Roy may be a little bit harder in case for whatever reason you do actually get hit by the bullet bill, or the platform somehow get in your way. Then yeah, I'm gonna say Roy New Super Mario Bros. U World 6 boss battle is harder than Morton's New Super Mario Bros. Wii battle in World 6. Now, World 7, the Cloud World, or in Super Mario Bros. U, it's called Meringue Clouds or something. Anyway, the Cloud World. The Cloud World is definitely my favorite world in both games. And the castle battle for both of these are Ludwig. So naturally, Ludwig being the last Koopaling castle fight, he's going to be harder than the rest. Although, I think in the Wii, because I'm so good and because like I know how to maneuver and jump around, I can easily dodge his four like fireballs. I don't know what they're called. And once you hit him, like, it's really easy to get on top of another platform and just wait for him. And yeah, after he gets hit though, after he gets hit, like, it's also really easy to hit him again. And even if you don't hit him again, he'll start flutter jumping and reveal his position, so you know where he'll be before he is able to send 4 more fireballs, and you'll just be able to jump on top of his head easily in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And New Super Mario Bros. U, after you figure out that the real Ludwig is the one that shoots 3 fireballs instead of 2, it's really easy. It is possible that after you hit him and he gets back up, like, maybe he is fast enough to get back in the air. But as I said, once you recognize the pattern and you recognize who the real Ludwig is, it's pretty easy. And I would say the New Super Mario Bros. Wii one is harder because if you do miss a jump or mistime something, then you can literally fall off and die. So you have to restart. And you'll have to restart the fight. And in World 7 New Super Mario Bros. U, that is not the case because there's a huge platform with no gaps. Alright, so now that we're done comparing each world's respective boss fight and labeling which one is more difficult than the last. Alright, so the final score was 4-3 to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Obviously, I knew that New Super Mario Bros. Wii was boss fights are harder than New Super Mario Bros. U. Like, that is very apparent, of course. But I didn't know it would be this close, to be honest. I completely forgot that New Super Mario Bros. U had some actual pretty decent boss fights in comparison to Wii's. But overall, yeah, the Wii won, obviously. And yeah, no, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys really take lots of care. Next video is going to be way better in production and editing and everything, because this was my first one, and my dialogue will improve by a lot. So yeah, hopefully stay tuned for future videos, and yeah, have a good day.